Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to All About Healing. I'm Emily Francis, and I hope this has become part of your Wednesday afternoon schedule. Or the show does play live four more times in the week, so 5 times each week, and you can download on the archive page at any time. So if you miss the live show, not to worry, the show still goes on, and you can download it. So go on to healthylife.net and download the archive. Today's Energy Corner comes from Ilona. So she was fabulous, ilona Selke, and she wrote the book Dream Big, The Universe is Listening. And I have to say, now that I'm listening to her and looking at her picture, I think I've seen her many times before in different circles speaking and such, and she's very magnificent. Today's Energy Corner comes from some of the things that she was talking about the universe is listening. And it's true, the universe is listening, but I loved that part that she explained that not only are you speaking in affirmation type of statements of what you want, but it's also that you are putting into your mind the picture that goes with it. And that's a really key part. So when we talk about what do we want, you know how I always say the 3 questions: what do you want? Or who are you first? What do you want? And number 3 is what are you willing to do to get it? And those 3 questions I ask myself all the time on any subject. I ask my children, I ask anyone, because this is that 3rd question, what are you willing to do to get it, is the defining line. That is the difference between being a doer and being someone who talks about doing something. And those 2 people are very, very different people. There are some people that are very content with discussing what they want to do, with really no true clear vision of how they're going to go about doing it, because it's more just the pipe dream, and they don't really think that they could ever achieve that. But the truth is that you, anyone in the world, can play with the universal energy to step into a different flow of what is happening in the universe with its energy, and then glide with it if you're willing to do it. You have to change, though, from being the talker about doing something to being the doer. And, I used to be a girl, I used to call myself a good enough girl. Everything's good enough. That's good enough. I would do anything that I was working on, and I would kind of cut corners, and I would look at it and that'll do. That's good enough. Okay, I'm done. And I did that for so long. And then when I started to write books, well, you can't do that, because if you do, and then you get the book finally in print, you're really upset with yourself that you cut that corner, or that you didn't really give it your all. You know how Don Miguel Ruiz, the author of The 4 Agreements, talks about always do your best? I now question myself of what does my best really look like? Because a lot of people think that they're turning in their best work, but it's their best work according to whatever time they're given, and that's that. But what if you really sat with whatever the given thing is that you're doing? Are you truly giving it your best, your very best? And these are those definitive lines. So like I said, I used to be a good enough girl. Everything's good enough. Now I'm a get stuff done girl, because I can't rely on anybody else to do it, because I'm the only person that knows what I'm trying to say. So it has to be me. And that doesn't mean that I'm trying to be type A, or I don't believe that other people can do things as well as I can, because that's absolutely not true. Everybody has their given skill set, and if they're good at something, I'm going to let them go with it, and I'm going to let them do what they're good at. But I'm going to sit with what I'm good at, and I'm going to put those gifts out into the world. Because I've spent the last 20 years of my life studying, constantly studying about body healing, and about how to change your life, and about when I went through anxiety and I went through hell. And I loved that Ilona talked about that she was suffering from depression many years ago, because I do think that people that deal with anxiety and depression have a very sacred spiritual gift that they have yet to open, and they don't know what to do with it. So it becomes this excess energy, or a slow dive energy, and we don't know how to reposition it and use that very same energy into something really spectacular and amazing, because we don't know that we can manipulate energy that way. But the truth is, I don't like the word manipulate, but it kind of is the best word for it. Let's say transmute the energy, but it's the same energy. that you have. So for me, I still have some anxious energy, but I now know how to funnel it into something positive that can help not only myself, but it can help other people. So why do I write books on body healing? Because that's what I study, and because when you go through the really hard times, man, if you think you're going through that all alone and you work so hard to find your way out and then you don't share it, then somebody else that desperately needs that help won't get it because you didn't do your part and you didn't offer it. And then that beautiful idea has to go sit with somebody else and find someone else that will do it for you. So I love that she talked about that the universe is listening, because it is always listening. And I think sometimes we get off track that way, not realizing that we are always supported. There is always another option, especially here and now in these days. There are always other options. Now, I don't mean this if you live someplace where you really don't have a lot of control, but for me personally, living in the United States, we do have a lot of ability to change the dynamic and the direction of where we're going. And a lot of countries allow that too, where people can take their health, their mind, their mental frequency, their opportunities, the energy that's traveling and current inside themselves, and switching it and turning it into something fabulous and wonderful. Or you can move. And I don't mean that you have to, but I love the fact that she's lived all over the world. I do find that there are certain people, usually Europeans, that tend to naturally travel more often. And a lot of us kind of stay where we're homegrown. So I'm very in awe of that world traveling. And now living in Bali, she lives in Bali now, or has a retreat center there in Bali. So the book is really fantastic, The Dream Big, The Universe is Listening. But she had a lot of really insightful messages that I took to heart because of the fact that I don't know that I've always pictured in my head the part that I wanted. I picture certain things that I want because I know how to manifest and put that in, but I don't know that the small things come into pictures into my mind, the way that the universe can kind of draw a magnet to it and pull it and make it come true. So today, and for the next several days, hopefully, you will put into practice everything that you're thinking about. Would make a picture too and ask the universe to help you, to conspire with you. We're not always having to swim upstream. And I do hear from too many people that are resigned to thinking that their plight, their space in life is to always come up short. Doesn't that suck? Wouldn't that be a terrible way to think about everything that you come up against, that you're just going to assume that because it's you, you're going to come up short? And I know people like this. I'm not just making this up. I know a lot of people that think, well, it's going to be me doing this, so it's probably not going to be great. I used to think that way too. I still am trying to trust myself and my own abilities, because I do like to have other people look at things and check my work and follow through, because there are parts of myself that I still doubt. So it's important that we as a collective learn to trust ourselves and what our abilities are, and then, man, run with them. Really run with them. You guys have been listening to All About Healing. I sure hope to hear from you guys. Reach out to me, EmilyAFrancisBooks.com, and you can find me on Healthy Life on the website. Shoot me an email. Let me know how you're doing. We'll see you back here next Wednesday. Have a great week.